Hello, guys. Today's topic is etiology of basic theories of traditional Chinese medicine, produced by ATCM College. The contents are conception of etiology, difference of etiology in TCM and biomedicine, classification of etiology, and the application of etiology. First, we have a look at the conception of etiology. Like the modern medicine, etiology in Chinese medicine means the course of the disease. It's the same. But the traditional Chinese medicine emphasizes on the body's reaction to the course. That is a crucial part of Chinese medicine etiology. And the course is reverse reasoning from result. The traditional Chinese medicine cares about the result of the disease, the body constitution of the disease, very much about the nature of the disease, very much, but they concern about the body reactions to the course. That is crucial. And course is multiple factors involved. It's the same in the modern medicine that the course of disease is very complicated and diverse. The Chinese medicine tries to simplify the course of the disease in a very simple way. I will explain about that afterwards. Let's have a look at the etiology difference between the TCM and the biomedicine. The course of the disease in TCM's view is imbalance in energy, internal or external factors, and the emotions and the environmental factors. So the course of disease in TCM view seems concern more about the pathological condition of the body, not only the reason of the disease, the course of the disease. So that's the most important difference between the TCM and the biomedicine, because the TCM put the pathological condition of the body into the etiology. And this part need to be classified in biomedicine as a pathology or pathophysiology. So that's the most important part of the difference. Well, in modern medicine etiology, it cares about the pathogens a lot. The course of the disease, they think most of them are pathogens. Well, in Chinese medicine, pathogen is just a small part of the course of the disease. And the same, the biomedicine concerns about genetics and lifestyle. It also has a similarity as the Chinese medicine think about the environmental conditions, environmental changes, environmental causes. Well, the modern medicine, the biomedicine cares about anatomical and physiological dysfunction. It's the same like the Chinese medicine about the imbalance of the body in energy. But the Chinese medicine think about more systematically about the appearance of the symptoms and those evidence that I collect from the observation by the TCM practitioners. Well, the modern medicine think about the courses of the disease by modern examinations like X-ray, like CT, MRI, like laboratory examinations. So they have different collection of the evidence to prove what is the course of the disease. Let's have a look at the two-part classification of disease course. This is the treatise on regulating meridians in the book Su Wen. That's the half of the Yellow Empire's internal classic. It is said the origin of the disease lies either in yin or yang. Those originating from yang are caused by wind, rain, cold, and heat. Those originating from yin are caused by diet, living environment, and the imbalance of yin and yang, as well as emotions such as joy and anger. It shows that it's a simple way to classify the course of disease into two parts, yin and yang. That's very traditional, like the classification of everything into yin and yang. So this two-part classification of disease course is simple and easy, but with a huge content and very splendid way of analysis to give this final course of disease result or analysis result. It's external course of disease, and it classified as yang, the yang reason, the yang course. And the internal course of disease, they classify it as a yin course. So it's a simple way to, and a traditional way to classify the disease course as yin and yang. And that fit the theories of yin and yang theory, as we discussed before about the yin and yang theories. Well, with the development of the classification of disease course, there is a famous called three-part classification of disease course. It has been produced by Zhang Zhongjing in his famous book, Synopsis of the Golden Chamber. He said, of the myriad ailments, none exceed three categories. Firstly, those caused by pathogenic factors entering the meridians and affecting the internal organs. Second, those caused by obstruction and blockage of blood vessels in the limbs and orifices affecting the skin externally. And third, those caused by injuries from sexual activity, weapons, insects, or animals. Considering these, all diseases are accounted for. In his book, he has the doctrine of three-part classification of disease course. First is external course of disease, it's yang. Second is the internal course of disease, it's yin. And the third, and also the most controversial part, is injury and special reason. I give the name others. So this three-part classification of disease course seems a little bit weird, and also, as I said, it's a little bit controversial because the injury and the special reason can also be classified as yin and yang. For example, if the injury comes from external reason or external world, it's young. If it comes from internal, especially the emotional factors, that's in. So we go back, and it's two-part classification of disease course are widely accepted by or nearly all the TCM learners. They think that two-part classification of disease course is simple, easy, and easy to understand and easy to remember. There's just two, yin and yang. So to be specific, the external cause of disease, we call it a yang reason, yang course. Most of them are environmental reasons, environmental causes, like the weather, like the external attacking, including insects, like including snake, coyote, or anything that's from external reasons. That's a young reason. That's a young course. And for internal course of disease, there are three main courses. First is internal imbalance. Actually, internal imbalance is both the reason and the result. It's both the cause and the result. Actually, it's a pathological condition of the body when the body suffers the external course of the disease. So the Chinese medicine is very complicated to learn because there is no absolute and clear guidelines and boundaries for the two conceptions, yin and yang. So this is most of the internal course of disease. That's internal balance. And second is congenital factors, or we call it prenatal reasons, or inherited factors, inherited reasons. That's also belong to internal course of the reasons. It's not external given by the parents. No, it's the internal development of the human body. So congenital factors belong to the internal course of disease. And third is very popular and nearly everybody accepted it, emotional reasons. Emotional causes is key reason, key causes of the internal course of disease. So the environmental reasons count relatively small part of the diseases. It's like the chronic diseases, the modern diseases count far more than the environmental attacks. And we have analysis of the course, disease, and causation of these two parts. Having a course of the disease doesn't necessarily lead to disease. For example, drinking too much Coca-Cola may cause obesity, may cause the heart problems, or we give heart burdens. But some people, they have Coca-Cola for drinking for 60 years and live much longer than the doctors who suggest her to quit drinking Coca-Cola. So having a course doesn't necessarily lead to disease. It's just to have the risk. We like the word risk, but not definitely lead to the links. No links. It's just a risk. Second, the occurrence of disease always involves a contributing cause. That's true. All the diseases, they have a contributing cause, and the contributing cause may be external or internal reasons, or the pathogen or this cause is too strong to beat the man down, or the human body is too weak to tolerate to fight for the pathogen, and that's the contributing cause is internal cause. And the third, modern medicine's emphasis on cause does little help for treatment. That's true. But Chinese medicine emphasis on cause is for prevention and problem solving. The Chinese medicine is very interested in the course of the disease. That is for the treatment, for the prevention. It's not only to know what's the course of a problem. That's very meaningful, and we'll discuss later. Application of disease course analysis. We see this analysis. That's very important thinking method of learning traditional Chinese medicine. You try to use the meaning of the mechanism of the traditional Chinese medicine to think about the disease. Use philosophy, like using the language to understand the logics inside. Let's have a very common case like common cold. Yeah, it's very common. A husband and a wife have air conditioner at home and has big wind volume, and they both caught common cold. For the husband, he has fever, sore throat, headaches, and less clothes, which shows he has heat inside. So, for the course of disease analysis, the Chinese medicine define it as wind heat pathogen attacks his body. Well, for the wife, the symptoms are different. She has chills and runny nose, headache. Yeah, she also has the same symptom, headache, and she wear more clothes because she chills. She has aversion to cold, and in Chinese medicine course of disease analysis, it named as wind cold pathogen attacks her body. Well, they use the same air conditioner. They get the same wind. They get the same cold, but they have different symptoms, and the course of the disease are totally different. It's not the heat wind, it's not the cold wind, but they suffer the wind heat or wind cold pathogen. So they think the course of the disease are different. It's not the wind different. The wind is the same, air conditioner is same, temperature is the same, but the human body has different reaction towards the same course. So the same course changed to different courses. One is wind heat, another is wind cold. So that's the amazing part and also the controversial part of learning the traditional Chinese medicine. The clients will complain why our herbs are different. And the practitioner answers because your symptoms are different. But they say, we have the same air conditioner. Why we have different reactions? The Chinese medicine practitioner will answer, that's why we classify the pathogen into two kinds. Even you say the same, but we say different. Well, for some course of deadliest diseases, that I think the Chinese medicine can benefit a lot for these diseases. That's why Chinese medicine is called alternative medicine. That's to fill the gap between the cause and the disease, the gap between them. Let's look at the number one deadliest diseases is coronary artery disease. In 2021, 9.1 million deaths a year, and deaths worldwide counts 13%, and increased from 2000 to 2021, 6.4 million to 9.1 million. That's terrible. And for the course of the disease, there are many, like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, family history of CAD, diabetes, and having overweight. All the reasons, all the causes, all the risk factors we say are too hard to control. Number one, high blood pressure. How many people have well controlled blood pressure when they suffer the HBP? No more than half. That means no more than half of the high blood pressure clients, they have poorly controlled blood pressure. And they have high risk to have a coronary artery disease. And if we control those people's blood pressure, can they be away from CAD? No, because it's multi-factors. So even we know the reason, know the causes of the disease, those deadly disease, can we do something to prevent it? Can we do something to control it? The Chinese medicine has its way. Chinese medicine believes that's the imbalance of the body between yin and yang. And also there are some internal causes like heart, fire, heat, fire. That's excess heat or anger raise the inflammation, and they think it's has some sticky or turbid fluids that's clog circulation. That's is oxidation of our blood and our tissues. Those trash in our body damage the blood vessels and also the heart muscle, the cardiac muscle. And they also think that because of the qi deficiency, like we talk about the energy, vitality insufficiency, that influences function, as weakens the heart function. And the most important is the blood stagnation. That's the key understanding about the course of coronary heart disease. That's slow, congealed, or obstructed blood circulation cause the problem, cause CAD. And also yang deficiency, that's lack of warming yang weakens metabolism. So it's also like the overweighted reason. That's the same. That's yang deficiency. Of course, the human body has overweight, has a fat accumulation. So in Chinese medicine, it's very simple. It has internal reason. We say it's internal reason, and we care about the internal cause of the disease, and we're focusing on the internal regulating and including the emotional regulating. That's important. That's to make the client has inner peace, to calm down, no anger, no any courses to raise the blood pressure and to cause the CAD. That's very helpful and impressive. And let's have a look at the number 7, Alzheimer's disease. That's what I care a lot, because for course of Alzheimer's diseases, it's the number 7 killer in the world and also in United States. And the death is over 1 million, that's 1.8 million, nearly 2 million people die because of the Alzheimer's disease. And for the death worldwide is 2.3%, and it's increased fast from 2000 to 2021. It's increased from 1.2 million to 1.8 million. So there are too many risk factors or suspected causes of the Alzheimer's diseases. Alzheimer's disease is, a worldwide problem, and especially for old society, for old people society like Japan, like China. This is a huge problem for the society. And there are too many causes and risk factor for this disease. There is no definite causes found now to be responsible or contributing a lot to the Alzheimer's disease. It is thought to be a multi-factored, multi-risk factor, and multi-causes disease, such like being older than 65, a family history of the disease, genetics, existing mild cognitive impairment, Down syndrome, unhealthy lifestyle, being female, previous heat trauma, loneliness or social isolation. Those reasons, or most of the causes cannot be controlled. For example, loneliness, social isolation. Well, it's too hard to build an environment for social activities and also to solve the problem of loneliness. Even we know the causes of Alzheimer's disease, we can do nothing. In Chinese medicine, how the Chinese medicine think about the course of dementia, Alzheimer's disease, it makes a very simple two-part classification of course of disease course. One is axis, another is deficiency. And deficiency plays most part of this disease, the course of the disease. It's qi and blood deficiency. And the qi and the blood, this energy, these nutrients cannot nourish the brain. And that is the main course of Alzheimer's disease. And what we need to find is what kind of substance, what kind of herb, what kind of nutrients is helpful to nourish qi and blood, and how to give these nutrients to the brain. And the second is kidney deficiency. Kidney deficiency in Chinese medicine is a process of being old, being senile, be old. So the herbs to tonify to nourish kidney that can be helpful for the brain marrow to give rebirth of the energy. And that's also a key research process pathway for the Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And for the axis, we see for the young part, there are two things need to be concerned to make the course of the disease of the Alzheimer and the dementia. One is the phlegm, dampness. That's like the clouds cover the brain. The turbid, sticky pathogen block the thinking process of the brain, and the turbidity accumulates. And another axis pathogen, we say the course is heat fire. That's excessive heat and fire burns brain tissue. That can also be found in lots of blood vessel problems, as we talk about CAD. CAD is also has a course of heat and fire. So some herbs to clear the heat and the fire may be helpful for to eliminate the course of dementia. To sum up, the application of disease course analysis is very helpful. Disease in modern society tend to be multiple factored and difficult to change completely. As we think about CAD and we think about the Alzheimer's disease, it's all multi-factors, and these factors not only too many, but also hard to control, hard to change. And the emphasis on course of rare, congenital, and unknown course disease does little help for the modern medicine. Even we know the course of some rare disease or congenital disease, and some disease will have nothing. We know nothing about this disease, what reason to cause the disease. That's very little help, does very little help for the treatment, for helping the clients. Well, traditional Chinese medicine disease course analysis is for early prevention, intervention, and treatment, and it's also very helpful to find a new mechanism, new pathways, and the most important thing is it can better life quality. Even we have nothing knowing about the disease, we can do something to make the clients feel better and life longer and the quality better. That's, I think, the best beneficiation of traditional Chinese medicine, especially to know about the course of the traditional Chinese medicine to help the clients. Hopefully, the Chinese medicine study, especially on the course of disease, can benefit a lot for the clients, especially in this modern world. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, I'd like to receive your mail to atcmcollege@gmail.com. I'd like to answer your questions. Thank you.